Hello and welcome back to the Golfshake YouTube channel. I'm Ryan Rastall, PGA professional here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds, and today we've got the brand new Qi iron from TaylorMade to have a look at. But before I do that, please hit the subscribe button, see loads more content from all of us here at Golfshake to help you play more and play better. Right, let's take a look at this. So the new Qi iron from TaylorMade is designed to go alongside the new Qi10 family of drivers, fairways and rescues that have just come onto the market. It also replaces the really popular stealth iron that's been out for the last couple of seasons. And it certainly looks quite similar in terms of the badging and the colorways, this kind of cap back design that we saw in that stealth iron, which was so popular. But we've had a little bit of a change in terms of the finish. It's a little bit more kind of chromy kind of finish and kind of sits in a little bit nicer, I think, with the current P series of irons that TaylorMade have available. Now, Qi is obviously aimed at that mid to high handicapper, certainly that player who needs a bit of extra distance, might need a bit more help in terms of getting the ball in the air, and definitely needs that bit of forgiveness across the face. There's a few technologies that have come into this iron. We've obviously got the through slot, which we've seen in some of the other models, but the big sort of proprietary technology that TaylorMade are shouting about with Qi is the FLTDCG, and what that is basically like a floating CG position and the face being able to move and flex quite a lot and almost making the CGs different in each iron head. So when we get into the long irons, we've got much lower CG to help you launch the ball, get it higher and spin it a bit more. And in the shorter irons, we've got higher CG position to really make the trajectory that little bit stronger and certainly make it so that if we put the weight really low in the head, we don't just pop all your wedge shots right up in the air and they don't go anywhere. So it's kind of helping to get that flight window throughout the set that we see here. TaylorMade is saying this is almost like an anti-slice iron as well. And the way that they've achieved that is by having face flexibility so that it doesn't spin as much sideways when we have off-center hits particularly. And they've also done lots of testing with players where if they hit from out to in and hit across the line of the ball, where they strike the face and trying to make the kind of face a little bit more forgiving for that type of player as well. I've been sent a 4, 6, 8 and pitching wedge in this iron to have a bit of a hit with. So we're going to jump onto the Trackman now, hit a shot with all of them and take a look exactly how they perform. So we've got 4, 8, 6 and pitching wedge to use in the new TaylorMade Qi iron. We'll start off with the wedge and kind of work our way up through the set. I mean, the first thing you notice about this is the finish is a little bit more chromy and kind of blingy and bright than the stealth iron that it's replacing, which was a little bit duller kind of colour, and the metal was a slightly duller finish than this, which some of you will really like the look of that. I think it blends in a bit nicer as well with the P series irons TaylorMade have out at the moment. So let's hit this wedge. So this wedge is down at 43 degrees, which is quite strong. It's kind of not quite a 9 iron, but it's pretty close really, as we'd expect from this type of iron, because it's got loads of weight lower in the head. Although the shorter irons in these have got slightly higher CG to really help with the kind of launch characteristics that we want on a shot like this. We don't want really low weight in the head to pop it straight up in the air and it not really go anywhere. So yeah, I mean, we've got that white bottom groove in there, which really helps with the alignment. In terms of looks behind the ball, yes, it is a bit chunkier than some of the irons I'm used to, but not off-putting at all. Let's hit a few. Certainly feels really nice off the face, to be honest, and a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. It doesn't feel like that kind of hollow and kind of cavitied golf club that you'd expect it to. As you would imagine, very easy to get the ball in the air. And a lot of marketing around these clubs is going to be how difficult they are to slice and how much they're designed to really be an anti-slice iron as well. So let's move up to something a little bit longer. So moving on to the 8 iron, the shaping changes a little bit. It's still nice and compact, and I think it still looks quite nice to look down on as well. We've still got that nice white bottom groove, the paint fill in there. Does look quite a strong iron, and the 8 iron is quite strong in this set, but you kind of imagine that as well. So let's hit a few. Yeah, now we're starting to sort of see and feel and hear a bit of a difference now in the obviously slightly more cavity and slightly bigger head that we're getting in here, and a bit more hollow kind of body in there. It does sound a little bit more like that. Not the best contact in the world, but I think it's gone pretty straight. Yeah, and you know, it's carried 175 yards with an 8-iron, which is pretty damn good, really. It's pretty much what I'd expect with a 7, and that wasn't really a good hit, to be honest. Yeah, again, I mean, doesn't feel as solid as the pitching wedge did, but you don't expect it to, but still pretty good. So now we move into 6-iron. We can see a little bit more of that offset in there as well. Again, a bit more kind of hollow body construction in this. Still sits nicely behind the ball. You can just see the back edge of the iron now when you sit it down, which some of you will not like and some of you will. But yeah, the offset is definitely a bit more prevalent. Let's hit a couple. Certainly sounds very different as well, even to the 8 that we were hitting a second ago. Much more hollow kind of sounding than the 8-iron and certainly the wedge did. Yeah, I mean, it's very powerful. Again, this 6-iron now is down, I think it's 24 degrees, which is pretty damn strong. It's carried 210, that 6-iron, which is a lot further than I'd normally hit a 6-iron. But like I say, the distance side of it isn't something that I would be kind of focusing on. It's more the ball flight and the height, and am I getting the ball to stop on the green? And certainly looking at these, they're still going pretty high. I mean, we'll look a bit better at the data in a second, but I mean, that one I've just hit's still gone 110 feet in the air, so it's still pretty high. But yeah, definitely as we're moving through this set, we can feel that they're becoming a little bit more, I suppose, cavitied and hollow bodied. You can really start to feel that a bit. So now I'll move to the top of the set, the 4-iron. If we're hitting 6-iron, it's carrying 210, running out to sort of 220. I would expect this to do some serious numbers. We're down at 18.5 degrees now in a 4-iron, which in my book is a 2-iron, but we've obviously got a lot of help in terms of the, you know, the width of the sole and the weight and the CG being a bit lower and all that kind of stuff. So it should be helping us to get more height on this ball flight and still maintain that sort of trajectory that we want to actually stop the ball when it lands as well. Very powerful to start with. A little bit down that left side, but it's okay. A little bit toey, but I think it's straight. Yeah, it's fairly straight. 254 again on what wasn't a particularly good strike. I hit that a little bit out the toe. But yeah, these irons are ridiculously powerful. You'd expect them to be. The lofts are strong. But like I say, try and get that out of your head. We're trying to, you know, if you get a set of these, you should be going to get fitted properly, and the fitter will actually get ball flight. So we want you to stop it on the green, not just hit it as far as possible. So for me, that one's landed 233 and ended up 254, 255. And that's too much of a gap between where it lands and stops. So we would be wanting to get something that maybe launches that a little bit higher, spins a little bit more, and hopefully stops a little bit quicker. But hitting these irons, you can see they're very powerful. The technology is there. We've got loads of forgiveness. And I think for an iron that is aimed at that kind of game improver golfer, I think they look really good too. So now we've had a chance to hit shots with all 4 of those irons that we've been sent. Let's have a bit of a look at the results. So as we'd expect, the distances are pretty good. I'll sort of talk about the kind of standard distance I would hit my equivalent club to these, but I'll also talk to you a little bit about the lofts as well. So pitching wedge here, right? So pitching wedge in this set is 43 degrees, which is pretty much what my 9-iron's 42 in the set that I carry at the moment. And in terms of the distance, it's a little bit shorter than my 9-iron would be, really. So 140 carry, 42, 43 total. But we're seeing a nice height, 103 feet. And to be honest, this and the 8-iron and the 6-iron are all quite nice in terms of the flights that we're getting. But yeah, they're not going a silly distance with the pitching wedge, certainly when we look at there. So about 140, 142 is kind of a good pitching wedge for me, you know, a 3/4 9-iron kind of distance there. So nothing silly really. When we look at the 8-iron, we can start to see that the distances increase. So these are kind of pretty good 7-iron, maybe even towards 6-iron numbers in my own set. But the 6-iron in this set is 24 degrees, which is what my 4-iron is. So we'd expect it to go further than that. The 8-iron is down at 32, which is stronger than my 7. 6-iron, this is where the spin really starts to drop. So we can see ball speeds jumped up now, 136 miles an hour, 213 carry and 226 total. So we're not getting particularly quick stop on this when it hits the ground. It's okay, but it's certainly longer than I would want between where it lands and where it stops with the 6-iron. I'd certainly want that within 10 yards of each other. But then when we look at 4-iron, I mean, the distance is just obscene, but 18.5 degrees in a 4-iron is pretty strong. So we'd expect that. We're seeing quite low spin, almost akin to what a 3-wood would be, really. But make sure you go and get properly custom fitted. If you're going to try these, go see a proper custom fitter. Come down, see someone like myself or at a TaylorMade fitting day. Make sure you walk away with the set that's going to suit your game and help you play better, because that's what we're all about here at Golfshake, helping you play more and play better. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you all soon.